This clip is from the Boundary Riders podcast, and if you do enjoy this, then make sure to check out the full episode out every single Wednesday morning on YouTube and Spotify. But with that being said, guys, let's get to our segment, of course, overreact / fair call. So this is basically, we look at some statements made over the week and give our opinions on it, if it was an overreaction from the football media or it was a fair call from them. Or it doesn't have to be a AFL media personality, it can be a head coach. So we get to the infamous statement made by Ross Lyon over the weekend. He said, the Suns are the AFL's Nepo babies. Now, do you think this is an overreaction from Ross, or do you think this is a fair call? Tough call.
To be honest, I think it's a fair call.
Yeah, okay.
I think it is. I think they've had so many concessions, so many things, so many draft picks, so much help in the last 5 to 6 years. I think you do. Like, if you say at the start in their history, no, I wouldn't. But the last 5 or 6 years, yes, I would say they are.
Now, looking at it, I found this little pick here that says top 20 picks playing for the Gold Coast Suns today. So you got Matt Rowell, Noah Anderson, Ben King, Bailey Humphrey, Jed Walter, Ethan Reed, Sam Flanders, Mac Andrew, David Swallow way back, Ben Ainsworth, Will Powell, and who's that? Braden Fiorini. They've had 4+ pre-draft academy selections, 3+ 15 top 15 picks in the draft, and 3 top 20 picks are coming up in the 3 top 20 academy picks in the upcoming draft. So I look at this in 2 different ways. Well, 3 different ways. One, I would say if this was anyone but Ross Lyon from the St Kilda Football Club, I think this statement would hold a lot more weight to it. St Kilda have butchered their draft picks in years gone by. So that's why I think a lot of people go, oh, shut up, Ross. Look at what St Kilda have done. They picked Jack Billings, Paul Marcus Bontempelli, you moron. Yeah. They picked Paddy McCartan before Christian Petrarca, you moron. Stop blaming that. So if this was made by a Craig McRae from Collingwood, or, I don't know, Geelong, like when John Longmire, maybe not John Longmire at the Sydney Swans, Chris Scott at Geelong, I think this would hold a lot more weight to it. Yeah. But because it was Ross Lyon at St Kilda, who have, famously made some terrible decisions at draft tables, that's why this is like, oh, shut up, Ross. Go fuck yourself. The second side I look at it is, how bad were the Gold Coast for so many years? Yeah. It's about time they actually are a good team. But also, I understand that they have been given so many concessions over the last few years. So, of course, eventually, the wheel has to turn that they are going to be like a real powerhouse. Yeah. So, yeah. And I do think as well that they have needed it, because if this is if you look at it as well, North Melbourne have been given a lot of concessions as well, and they haven't really been able to turn it around. Yeah. So, I think that it was needed, that they needed a lot of concessions. Has it been too much? Maybe. But they also have to look at it as well, like, so many that they got a lot of concessions. They got concessions when they started, and a lot of players just up and left. Yeah. So when now they've got an academy to pick from, they've picked up players like Walter, Reed, and a couple of others as well that are going to be coming on. And now apparently they've got potentially 3 top 20 picks coming in the next from the academy in the next draft. So of course they are building a real big squad here that could keep them in higher stead for years to come. Yeah, exactly, yeah. So hopefully for their sake, they can stay as a powerhouse team for a while. But I think when a lot of people look at it from the outside, especially like supporter bases from Victorian clubs, especially like a St Kilda, who have struggled for so many years, they would be like, hang on, why haven't we been given these sort of concessions? It's a bit unfair. But I do think as well that the Victorian clubs, there are a lot of players picked out of Victoria from every single year. Yeah. So, of course, they get that extra, you can come home and live with your family and see them every single day, rather than, you get to see them maybe a couple of times a year through the footy season. Yeah. So, I see it 2 different ways. I think it's a fair call from Ross that they are a bit of a Nepo baby, like they've been giving all these concessions, like, you get this, you get this, you get this. Eventually the wheel is going to turn. They're going to be a better club. They're going to be a potential powerhouse now. But I also think that anyone, if it was not Ross, there would be not a lot of. If it was anyone else but Ross, there would be a lot less backlash for it. Yeah. So if it was anyone else, and St Kilda continue to complain about this, you still need to check your own backyard. Similar to how Damien Hardwick said, they only have 13,000 at that game.
Yeah,
their fans need to start going.
It didn't look great, but it wasn't a great time slot. I can see a difference in that one. But
Yeah, I mean, that's fair enough. It was a shit time slot, two teams that don't have huge fan bases. So, yeah, I kind of get that too. But St Kilda also need to watch their backyard because they need to get better at it.
Yeah.
And I also have to mention the Sam Collins response. This is made today. When asked a question, he was asked today about the thoughts of Ross Lyon's comments over the weekend, and Sam Collins, in big dick fashion, just flopped his cock straight on the table in front of the journo and said, the last opinion of Ross Lyon that he took was when he delisted me. So I don't really care about his opinion anymore. Well done, Sam Collins.
Bang.
By the way, I thought that was this was way back. I think it was 2016 when he got delisted from Fremantle when Ross Lyon was the coach. I thought that was a bit of a shock back in the day as well.
Yeah.
I always had good thoughts about Sam Collins. Now he went back to Werribee, played there for a year, was so good that he was one of the concession picks from the Gold Coast way back, and now he's their vice captain. So
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was a weird decision at the time, but looking at it now, it's all worked out in the end. Fremantle, they're around down the bottom now, sort of. I think he'd be a great pick for them with Alex Pearce at the moment. But looking at it, I mean, he's probably one of the better players for the Gold Coast, one of the real leaders there now. One of the, he's been there through the tough times too. He hasn't been there just coming in now when they're building a powerhouse lineup.
Yeah.
He was there through those years when they were freaking dog shit. So, anyway, I thought that was a really good response, though, from Sam Collins. Good on him. Big dick energy. Now, the last one I wanted to bring up here, a statement made over the week, is from Carlton. So, the Carlton Premiership window has been slammed shut.
Yeah, I think that's a fair call.
Yeah, it's a fair call. This was made from Kane Corns. I think it was today, in fact. He's basically said that the Premiership window of Carlton is gone at this point.
Yeah.
That they've wasted a real opportunity to snag a flag. If anything, they haven't really had a real shot at it, really. I mean, they got to a prelim in 2023, but now they're in a pretty tough spot.
Well, you got to think Kerno's coming to the end of his career. He's only got a couple of years left. Mackay's, you don't know about him.
I think he's a bit older than Charlie Curnow, wouldn't he be? He'd be around the same age.
Around the same. Paddy Cripps is still... If he doesn't do it for him, they got nowhere to go.
Yeah. Tom de Koning, he looks set to leave now.
Yeah, he looks like he's out the door. Wiedering, he had his worst game of his career on the weekend, but he just, if it's not him, they've got no defenders to help him out.
Yeah.
Doherty, he played his best game all season last week.
Playing in the VFL a lot for last month or so.
I would sadly think he may retire at the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have a small forward. However they say it, their best small forward probably Will White, which is funny because he's only played a handful of games.
I mean, Corey Durden's had some good games this season, but yeah, I mean, you're probably right.
He's just,
I mean, you're alluding to Jesse Motlop at the moment, aren't you?
I think everyone I listen to about every Carlton, when they talk about Carlton, is that why the hell is he in the team? And I still don't understand why he is either. And I'm not a fucking Carlton supporter.
Yeah, I do think there was a bit of a cope that I saw of a tweet that was circulating around regarding Jesse Motlop and Eddie Betts regarding the first 50 games from Eddie Betts and Jesse Motlop. Eddie Betts only kicked 51 goals, while Jesse Motlop's kicked 48. So they're saying
is that really a stat? Because I wouldn't have thought he kicked 48.
Yeah, I mean, true. That's very true. But I do think that you can't just... I don't know. I wasn't really watching footy that much when Eddie Betts was around, like early days. But the one thing that Eddie Betts always brought... I mean, he kicked over 500 goals, I believe, in the end of the day when he retired. He also brought pressure. He brought a lot of that. Jesse Motlop really hasn't done a lot of that either, though. No. The problem is, as soon as it gets inside that forward line for Carlton, it is straight out the next minute. In like 20 seconds. It is in, out, gone. Those the small forwards, nowadays as well, it's not really all about the goals. It's about the pressure. Yeah. So if it's just going in, out, what's the point? 48 goals are well and good, but you're not putting on the pressure, which is an issue, I think. Now, do I think this is a fair call? I think it's a little bit of an overreaction. Because it was only a few weeks ago when people were saying, oh, they're back. Carlton are right back in the hunt for finals. They're all good. They've finally changed.
Yeah, well, they beat Geelong and for the previous 3 weeks when they beat West Coast and North Melbourne. They're back. It's like...
They're saying they're back. So I think this is a slight overreaction on the fact that Carlton are the talk of the town one week, and then they're just they're shit. Go away.
Yeah, but also that was the AFL media saying that, but their game style since Voss took over, even before that, has been the same shit. Bomb it long. Expect Mackay and Kerno to mark it. If they don't, it pings out because there's no pressure in the forward line.
Yeah,
so
no, I agree.
That hasn't changed.
Yeah, that hasn't changed at all.
Under Voss. So why would we expect it if he is the coach for the next year or so?
Do you think I think he's got another year in his contract. Do you think he survives the going into 2026?
No.
You think he's probably gone?
I think if they don't significantly at least get in the top 10, he's out the door.
Yeah. I think they almost have to make finals, really. I mean, the list that they've got, the top-heavy list, they have to at least make finals this year, which I doubt now. I mean, I think there's probably only 9 teams that potentially make the 8. Maybe Melbourne on the form that they're in at the moment. But the top 9, I think, are pretty well set. Fremantle could potentially jump in there. And I think maybe Melbourne. But other than that, Sydney are gone. Port are gone. Like teams from last year. Yeah. They're gone. Essendon won't make it with their percentage.
And their injuries.
And their injuries as well. So I think the top 9 are probably pretty well set right now. And, I mean, maybe a team could make a bit of a run. That's why I think Melbourne could. Because they've got the midfield and their forward. I mean, their midfield are really doing well to score goals to help them out.
I think if their defense was lever back now and May, that combination's always been good.
Yeah.
So, and McDonald, he was dropped on the weekend. So they do have a bit of depth in that position that they can bring him back in if they need to.
And Cozzy Pickett's in career best form too.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, like you said, they're a team that could go back to where they were in 2021 and go on a run to all the to get to finals. Yeah,
I think next week I'm actually going to take a look at I can't remember if you saved or we posted the halfway through the season of where you had the ladder for like the season predictions. But I think what we're going to do is we're going to do a rest of the season predictions going into it, and then see if we're going to see any other teams make it, because I haven't really looked at like a ladder predictor, but I think that's what we can do next week. Look at potential teams that are going to be able to make the finals, but we'll do that next week. We'll have a quick look at that, bit of a preview for you guys. So yeah, we'll do that next week, and we'll see what other teams are going to make it. But just on the outside looking in, I can't see any more than 10 teams in the finals race right now. I can't really see it. So I think top 8 teams, Fremantle and Melbourne at the moment. That's probably it for me.